Whenever I'm talking with someone about a startup idea and they've got this imagination and this vision in a certain way for part of the product or the features, or maybe something that people are seeking that's not there, I usually map it out with the business model canvas. It's also helpful as a product manager because I'm coming into a new company, trying to see, what this app is trying to play in what market and what are the partners and where are the opportunities and gaps and everything like that. So the business model canvas is the best way to do it. It's a simple one-pager coming from Strategizer. I love to walk this through. So we're going to go through this with Twitch as the example and have a little bit of fun as we figure out how to fill this out and how it might help us thinking about how we bring features to market and launch companies. So the box on the upper left is the key partners. Are there any partners that are key to the features that we have? So that's vendors, technology partners, or strategic alliances. So in Twitch's case, that's the game publishers and developers. You better have that right, or those lawyers are coming after you. You want Riot Games, Epic, and Blizzard on your side, so that way you could do the streaming, and it's a win-win. So they get more excitement in their games, they get more people loyal to them, and they also get to have their content on our site. So that's important. Amazon Web Services is a huge, important cloud infrastructure provider with all those servers for all this stuff shooting through those internet tubes, because without that, I don't think they can do this. Also, advertisers and sponsors. So this isn't going to go well if there's no revenue, and that is a key way to do it. So they do have an advertising model and other models as well that we'll talk about, but you want to have that relationship good. So when you're thinking about features for an advertiser, if you don't have a way to download their impressions of those advertisements easily, which has been the case. Certain social media platforms that start with an S didn't have a great reputation for their tools for marketers earlier on, and Facebook even, it took a long time to add good analytics and a good way to reach that other than a crappy CSV file that was very unclear for a while. And so how can you look at these partnerships and then deliver value to them as we go through some of the other pieces? Now, the key activities are those key activities required to develop the features. So do you need R&D? Are we working on Twitch in virtual reality? Are we, doing continuous deployments? Are we managing a community with a lot of community managers that are moderating content or somehow cultivating that community as well? Or is it handled in a different way? So having the ability to distribute video well across the world with large volumes of video without that kind of buffering and other issues is super important. So that's actually a key activity for them to complete. Resources are essential for developing and maintaining the features. So that's technology, that's intellectual property, and that's partnerships that could be required to deliver those. Also, streamers and content creators are resources themselves because they're creating that content. So that's important, as well as the infrastructure itself, as well as the audience as a resource as well, the community that's interacting on those chats and becoming friends and tipping the creators. All of that is a resource. They're part of the process there. Value propositions is one of the more difficult boxes here to go through. So how the product features deliver unique value, how similar to the jobs to be done that we've discussed a lot. We're solving a customer problem, fulfilling a need. So what is that unique value proposition? And for Twitch, that really is live interactive game streaming. So that's how it started. Now it's live interactive streaming of lots of kinds, although it fits a few use cases that it really kind of dials in on, besides the gaming and esports, music, that sharing the content live with each other while you're there, as well as the clips afterwards, is such a different experience in Twitch than it is in most places, and that interactivity with the group is huge. So the customer relationships section is that type of relationship each feature fosters with the customer. So is that going to increase retention? Is it going to boost customer service? Is it going to enhance personalization? So that discovery feed, especially because these are a little bit different use cases. Like, are they going to recommend me games to watch when I'm more interested in music, or what type of games? And that kind of thing is super important, and that'll develop a different relationship with me depending on how they do that. The customer segments that we talked about, game stream viewers. So who else is going to benefit the most from the feature? So some of these may, and early on, obviously these were all tailored toward gaming users, but then they found other segments it worked really well for. So who knew that ASMR users were served by the needs of gamers, and that there were a lot of similar technologies and similar features in the community that ended up landing well with those others as well. So, maybe there's a difference for esports versus other gaming features that you might want to look at. Channels. So which channels are you going to sell through? So for Twitch, it's pretty obvious. It's going to be online. It's going to be app stores. It's probably not going to be physical locations for the most part, but deciding like which app stores is going to be on every possible type of device, that is important to know where it's going to be. Are you going to stream directly from a game, or are you just using sort of a screen sharing thing? Social media, are you going to have any of these available to be shared or directly on, X, Twitter, YouTube, etc.? And then revenue. So how are these features going to contribute to revenue? Are they going to have premium features? Is it going to be a subscription, or are they going to drive sales indirectly? So obviously Twitch has advertising. You can pay a monthly fee to subscribe to channels. In addition, you can give the tips, the bits, the virtual goods they can tip their streamers. And then you can have an ad-free premium subscription as well. So behind the revenue, our subtraction from that is the cost. So the cost of the features, so that's development, maintenance, and scaling massively, are extremely expensive, especially like I mentioned, Amazon Web Services and that technology and bandwidth to be able to deliver that to a content delivery network that's scattered around the globe, so that way it's closer to those people that are consuming that content. That is a very expensive, obviously. And then revenue share is a huge one here, and one really important to look at for a platform like this. And there are different models for this. There is the TikTok model where they are not really making that much money as streamers, but they're getting a great chance to scale and a pretty fair shot at the algorithm picking them up and putting them on the FYP page, but not as much. So there's also YouTube, who has historically been very good at at least once you're monetized after the 1,000 watch hours or whatever, sharing a solid amount of that revenue share with them. Finding the right balance of the revenue for you and keeping your content creators happy and loyal and attracting more of them is super important, but it is a cost. And so that cost of the share will be in that area as well. The business model canvas brings you from confusion to clarity to see where the opportunities are. Highly recommend filling it out for your companies, your ideas, and help it at least spark the conversation on where you might be able to do something uniquely and better than everyone else.